A lot of us might remember the comparison that we had to face since we were children from our parents with the cousin or the elder, younger brother or the class fellow that we had. Look at that guy's son, what he's done. Look at your brother, he's done that. What are you doing? That guy was first in his class and you hardly end up in the first 10 students in the class. Such and such. We might also remember that that's something unpleasant, not very pleasant. And fair enough, it's not healthy for a child's psychological welfare, well-being and upbringing. That's something we disliked, right? But we tend to do something very similar with our own parents. At that stage we were children, but as soon as we grow up, we come across certain psychological researches, certain changes in the community, in the society, and we tend to realize that a certain behavior that our parents had or certain policies they had built for themselves when they were upbringing their children were not very appropriate according to the researches that we read now. And we end up complaining about our parents and how they brought us up. To our colleagues, to our siblings mostly, they end up, when they get married, they've got their own children, and when they've got their own children, they research and they find out that this wasn't the right thing to do. They end up talking to each other and complaining about what went wrong with their own upbringing when their parents were the ones in charge. The thing that we need to understand is that the research you came across now might not even have existed back in the day when you were a child and your parents were busy with your upbringing. And they had most of the parents. I'm not talking about certain exceptional psychological I'm not talking about certain exceptions with parents who had psychological problems and ended up abusing their children. No, generally, in a society, parents do what they think is best for you after all, right? Their intentions were pure. Fair enough that they might have ended up making mistakes. And that does not justify us complaining about their intentions and complaining about how I've ended up. I've got stress, I've got these problems now. Why? I attach the string back to when I was a child and my parents had done this and that. Allah has given parents the right over children, and children have been instructed not to utter a single word before your parents. You may dislike the way they spoke to you. You may dislike the instructions that they've given to you. You may dislike the boundaries that they've set for you. But look, you exist, right? And your existence is an offshoot of their existence. Every single form of happiness that you've seen in your life, every single pleasure that you have faced and you've experienced in your life is an offshoot of their existence transferred to you, and from their existence you had that capability to be able to experience that pleasure, the success, be it little. Anything that you've gained in your life is an offshoot of their existence. Now, if they've made mistakes, fair enough. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all sins. But He says there's one sin that would not be forgiven. What is it? It's shirk. Ascribing others to His divine unity. With all the emphasis that Allah has in the Holy Quran on His divine unity, it's understood from the verses of the Quran that right after the great importance of His divine unity is the well-mannerism, the respect, the value that you give to your parents. The greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unmatched. But after His greatness is the greatness of our parents. The value, the respect they have is the second thing in Islam that is unmatched. We talked about how we amongst ourselves talk about the things that went wrong in our upbringing from our parents, but some of us, they go to the extent of confronting our parents. We confront our parents. You did this, you've done that, and look what happened to me, how I ended up. You're breaking them, you're destroying them with these words, because they know that all they had was positive for you. All they wanted was good for you. We need to value that. Albeit hard, we need to try and ignore, try and forget, try and get over the little wrongdoings. I'm not going to say wrongdoings, that's the wrong word. The little mistakes, the slips that they had with their interaction with us, the actions that they had. We need to get over that and value the intentions that they had behind those actions.